Well, the news getting to us now says the presidential pardon granted by our President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, showing the prerogative of mercy towards Maryam Sanda, who murdered the husband, has now been upturned. Philip, let me put it this way. Did the president jump the gun? From what we gathered now, the case was still in court. At the Supreme Court, they hadn't determined the case. So the president went ahead to, pardon somebody that the case was still in court. I mean, is that, I don't know, what is the legality of that? Isn't that shortchanging the judiciary?
It's very sad that at this time of our life, in our jurisprudence, Mr. President still don't know what to do. I think if the president wanted to free, Sandra, it would have been presidential pardon, because the process of the matter was still in court, was ongoing, because Sandra on her own has appealed the conviction. And
sorry, her name is Sanda. Maryam. Her name is Maryam.
I think what the president needed to do, if he had wanted to extend pardon to her, is not a prosecution, which he would have exercised through the Attorney General of the Federation. What it means that the Attorney General will withdraw the matter. They are no longer interested in prosecuting her and not pardon. Exactly. And that is why, because the matter was before the Supreme Court, we don't know what the president had actually pardoned, because the conviction is being contempted in court. So when you ask the question whether the president jumped the gun, we can't help but to say that yes, the president at this point had jumped the gun. Probably he doesn't know what to do, or he doesn't know what
that we are still talking about, Maryam Sanda's case, that the Supreme Court has, we won't even say reinstate. That pardon actually never happened, because the case was still in court. Was to withdraw the case. Saying you are pardoning somebody means that the case has gone through the entire court process and the person was found guilty. Supreme Court could have as well said today that she wasn't guilty in the first place. That opportunity does exist, or that the trial didn't follow normal procedure and revert it back.
What we say is that in this country we're in a quagmire where everybody is not hands-on. If the president was hands-on, he would check the list, and one after the other, every case will be explained to him. A case that left the High Court, where court, they challenge, you see, the ruling of the High Court and that of the Appellate Court are the same, and they challenged it, they went to the Supreme Court. Now, they should have known, because it's from the Ministry of Justice that the list was compiled, who was entitled to pardon or not pardoning. The CJN, sorry, not the CJN, the Judiciary, as an entity of its own, has a voice in what the state.
That we compile name from the top before asking of your qualification for any job.
Yeah.
We play, maybe this name we just handed a compiled them, because the lady has been in jail, of course, being detained there. Once you're convicted, even though you have appealed, you have to remain in jail. They just compiled the name without checking that this case was still alive in court. Isn't this
Sam, a respected personality in the legal profession? He has written so many books. He's an authority to say that this emanated from his office.
Let me jump in. Do you think he's going to resign?
Well, in Nigeria, people don't resign.
Resign
in the first place, for the president to grant pardon to anybody, it is the office of the Attorney General that had to scrutinize the list to Mr. President, you can go ahead. Because Mr. President cannot be everywhere. That is why he hired an expert. And in fact, when we fell into that field, Mr. Fagbemi, to be honest with you, is a square peg in a square hole. But we don't know what is happening at this point, when this could happen under his nose and nothing is being done. I think sincerely, Mr. Fagbemi should re-examine those who are working under him.
All right, I don't think Mr. Fagbemi is a square peg in a square hole. Reason because this is not the first, second, or third time most of these blunders have been done. The local government autonomy, for example, he has not lent his voice to it the way he should.
The judgment he pursued.
Then secondly, we had also a lot of rogues and rogue boys that were granted amnesty under his nose. He saw it. Now this one again.
So that's
square peg in a square hole. According to Philip, it has shifted.
Go Okay.
I don't think. I want to respond. His profession has been rubbish by this office.
Can I say something? In those days when people were graduating from school in a convocation, they used to say something: "We have found you to be worthy in learning and in character." Don't you think that character is part of being this, maintaining the square, so that you can have square peg in the square hole? What politics is, what we call politics in Nigeria, should not be sufficient to make your square not to fit in the size.
Yes, to a large extent, I know. Years back, it's true. Resign because you don't allow yourself to be used for dirty politics.
That's right.
So if he has allowed himself to be used for dirty politics, then to a large extent, his character is not questionable.
I'll come to you. I want to come to you. Do you think that the president will now go ahead to do another pardon for this lady?
Well, if the opportunity comes around again, because
who creates the opportunity is the president.
Sometimes occasion creates opportunity. Yeah, politics creates opportunity. Of course, we have seen that all over and all over again. When Dasuki was arrested, when they come to APC. Now, these things, to give the president credibility. Don't also forget the case of Fubara voice vote, and they were the one that advised the president that he should put what's it called, an emergency rule in Rivers State. So if Philip is saying that the Fagbemi that I know, obviously maybe it's not the Fagbemi that you know, maybe it's another Fagbemi, maybe it's another Fagbemi that is on the seat right now. On the seat right now.
The Supreme Court is saying that they have upon the presidential pardon. That means her name was not dropped. So, but I think sincerely that Mr. President will not take the same misstep at the second time. Yes, if he chooses to pardon Maya at this time, there will be no excuse for her not to go home free, because there will be no court that will come to upturn her conviction.
All right, talking about law and how it's supposed